All right. Good evening, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be here tonight to honor one of my personal heroes. Almost 30 years ago, Guido van Rossum created a new programming language that was revolutionary in its simplicity and design. It was as easy to read as plain English, yet powerful enough to handle just about anything you could throw at it and underpin some of the world's most complex IT systems. He called it Python as a tribute to the comedic genius of Monty Python. And since then, it's become one of the essential building blocks of the digital world. So every time you do a search on Google, or you check Instagram, or share a file on Dropbox, you owe a debt of gratitude to this unassuming Dutch engineer who made his innovation free and open to the world. So I first discovered Python as an undergraduate at MIT, a computer science student. And when I found it, I was like, oh my God, I guess this must be what it feels like for a musician or a violinist to pick up a Stradivarius, or for a chef to discover the perfect knife. I can't cook, but that's like what I imagine it to be like. But it was so intuitive and it was so beautifully designed. And it showed incredible empathy for its users, the developers. And it always just worked. And a lot of these attributes really inspired my co-founder Arash and me when we thought about the design ethos for Dropbox. And there's no question that quite literally Dropbox would not exist without Python. It gave our little startup superpowers. And choosing Python as our language allowed us to outmaneuver our competitors, to accomplish 10 times as much in the same amount of time. And it allowed us to write code once and have it work on every platform. But under Guido's leadership, Python has become a lot more than just a programming language. It's created this rich ecosystem, and Python's found its way into everything from astrophysics to bioinformatics to physics, and a lot more than that. And it's supported by an open source community of hundreds of thousands of people who've been empowered by what Guido's built. And now Guido continues to lead that community in the development of Python, but he has just about the coolest title you could possibly have in tech, the BDFL, which stands for the Benevolent Dictator for Life. I actually went to my board of directors and I was like, I have some idea, so they didn't like that proposal, so it was rejected. But to pay tribute to the BDFL, we've got a little video for you.
I was into somewhat subversive TV shows, and so Monty Python was one of those that I enjoyed watching. If you name it Python, it could arguably be named after a snake. I named it after Monty Python, but I took it from Monty Python. And it was like easy to type, not too many letters, not too many consonants next to each other, easy to pronounce. My original idea was for Python to be sort of in between shell scripts and C programming. I had this vision of kids learning Python in school, which at the time looked pretty far-fetched because there weren't even that many computers in most schools. You can show someone, here are the basics of Python, and if they know a bit of programming in another language, they'll see, oh wow, this is very simple, this is very easy, I can understand this already. If you teach them Python instead of Pascal, they can focus more on that learning experience and less on where the semicolons do or don't go. The areas where Python is used most is, on the one hand, web application development tooling, like the internal tooling we use at Google. There's a lot of that in Dropbox too, and sort of, again, Facebook. Instagram, the Instagram service is written in Python. There are many other ways that Python is used where it's either an alternative to Java or Go, or it's a tool all by itself. Scientists use it to drive incredibly powerful libraries. That world has grown bigger and bigger, and now we have like a lot of data science happening in Python. The fact that Python is easily extensible with code written in other languages. So Python is a great glue language. I cannot emphasize enough that the community did it. It is such a great place. There are so many people contributing, and yes, we also argue. I learned so much from just listening to other people explain why a certain thing cannot work or why we should do a certain other thing, and I enjoy the debate. And I'm very happy that the community takes care of all these things that I couldn't possibly do all by myself. I think my role is mostly that of a mentor.
So it's no exaggeration to say that the world would be a very different place without Guido. And as you can tell, he'd be the last person to tell you that. He's one of the most humble and grounded people I know. And I'm proud to call him my colleague, my mentor, and my friend. And so with that, now it is my pleasure to present Guido van Rossum with the 2018 Computer History Museum Fellow Award for the creation and evolution of the Python programming language and for the leadership of its community. So please join me in welcoming Guido to the stage.
Okay, thank you. That was like heartwarming. 28 years ago, I did not expect my little creation would spread around the world this way. I just wanted to be a more productive programmer. Turns out there are a lot of programmers everywhere with that same desire. Lucky for them, I made Python open source and shared it with the world. And lucky for me, the world gave back. And together we've made Python successful. There are now many great communities of Python users focused on open source packages and frameworks, spreading the word, and helping each other. Really, Python's superpower is that it spans such a wide range. It's a great first language, and it starts with you as your career develops. It's a scripting language. It's a glue language. It's a prototyping language. It's a production language. To some people, it's already a legacy language. For example, as Drew mentioned, the first Dropbox prototype was written in Python. And in 10 years, that little Python program has grown to millions of lines of code today, syncing files for hundreds of millions, I should say, of users. But for me, the biggest reward has always been the people in the Python community. 24 years ago, we had a first modest Python workshop with about 20 attendees in Maryland. It was a life-changing event for me, and I'm still friends with some of those folks. And these days, there are hundreds of Python gatherings on 6 continents, as they say. And in about a week, I'm off to the annual United States Python conference, PyCon US, and I will meet thousands of people there. And it just still amazes me every time that I get to that event. And because you all want to move on to the next part of the program, I'm just going to finish saying again that I'm super happy with this award. Thank you very much.